G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on the brand new expansion for Age of Empires 4. This map is Cliffside, and boy oh boy do we have a good matchup for you today. The two best new civilizations to be added in the Sultan's Ascend expansion pack. In the north of the map, playing in the color teal as Jussi's Legacy, we've got Crackety here. And boy oh boy, look at that little treasure trove he's got in the middle of the town center. Boy, isn't that lovely. And on the south side, in the color yellow, playing as the Ayyubids, it's Lucifron 7. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. It is lovely to be able to bring this to you, and if you'd like more content to keep coming your way, I've been doing 3 videos a day at the moment. I'm loving Age of Empires 4. If you've been loving it as well, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff on the video. It really helps out with the traction of the channel. So let's talk a little bit about this matchup, because this one here, we got the Battle of the Titans, 2 civilizations. I would say if you were to do a popularity contest on the 6 new civilizations, these 2 would be at the bottom. What do you have at the top? You got Japanese, Byzantines, definitely. And then after that, you've probably got what I like to call the bigger chads. You've got, obviously, you know, the giga chads, but then there's the bigger chads. And then after that, you've got Jeanne d'Arc. And then it's these 2. I'd probably say maybe Ayyubids slightly more popular than Jussi's Legacy. It's a close call. But then they come out of the box, and they are both very, very hot. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. We're still reserving our judgment on overpowered, on, you know, needs nerf and all that kind of thing, because we're still early on in this expansion pack. We don't know how things are going to develop. There might be mechanics that we miss. I'm sure you guys will remember Lucifron was actually the one who worked out Delhi, solved it before anybody else did. It was Lucifron and Vortex that were practicing together for Genesis in the very beginning of Age of Empires 4. It was them that were practicing, and all of a sudden, you know, it was the very first game, Dry Arabia, Lucifron against, I think it was Marine Lord, and he brings out Delhi. And everyone's just looking at him like, excuse me, sir, do you not realize that French is the meta? And he just absolutely destroys Marine Lord with this Delhi Sultanate civilization. Then Vortex does the exact same thing in his games that he played. They'd kept it a secret that whole time. So just remember that there could be secrets that are being kept at the moment that we just don't know about. But what's not going to be a secret is the age up for Lucifron. He's just clicked it. I said it's not going to be a secret. You can see he's trying to hide it from us right here. In fact, this isn't him trying to hide it. This is just, unfortunately, the devs haven't updated this one. What is he going for? It looks like he's going to be going for the economic wing growth. All right, so interesting to see which direction he's going to be opening here, because you do have a lot of options allowed, I guess I would say, as the Ayyubids. The big emphasis is obviously on the trade wing, specifically the bazaar. That is definitely the most popular choice we've seen, but I do like this opening as well, going into the growth, to get those 3 extra villages. It might not seem like a lot, only 3 villages, but you got to remember, we're early in the game here, right? When this age up comes through, he's going to be sitting on maybe 16 villages, 17 villages. So that's a fair chunk of his economy. You're talking about 16% of your economy right there that just comes in, and those producing resources for the rest of the game. So a really nice early upgrade. But now, looks like he's beginning to prep. I'm curious to see whether he goes into a second town center or whether he looks to play it on one base. He's going to be going up against Jussi's Legacy here. We'll take a look and see exactly how Crackety is doing on that north side of the map with a meditation gardens coming down. Let's give this one a rating out of 10. It's not too bad. I don't think you can get much better than this. Actually, no, I think you could. I would have gone for the meditation gardens. Oh, see, he kind of stuffed himself up here, because the meditation gardens would have gone wonderfully right next to this gold vein. Because that way you hit the double berry bushes and the gold vein. And I think that's going to be more important than hitting a little bit of wood. Having the food come in for you know, just trickling in is so amazing as this civilization, because there's a lot of food heavy units you want to be making. Your horsemen, your spearmen, your palace guards, and of course your villagers. You want to be spamming them out. And even, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to cost a fair bit of food now as well after the change. But the age up does come through on that south side. 3 of the villagers going to be transported in. He's got that 3-vill advantage now. But just remember that it might be a 3-villager advantage for the moment, but once this Young Nun Tower, together with the meditation gardens, are complete, you're going to see that Song Dynasty arrive, and then a second town center, probably from Crackety, thrown down as we see 8 villagers on stone. Let's check in with the meditation gardens. It's going to be 48 food per minute, 24 wood per minute, and 30 gold a minute. So you're looking at just over 100 resources. I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10. I think this is a pretty decent spot to put it, but I mean, you're kind of blessed by your spawn more than anything. You can look to try and bring it out over somewhere like this spot here and get the double gold and the berries, but you're kind of in a bit of a difficult spot. And if your enemy goes aggro on you while you're doing that, you're going to be in a bit of a tough spot to defend. Anyway, We'll check in with Lucifer and see how he's doing as the upgrades begin to come through. Wheelbarrow, double broad axe, very significant upgrades now coming in as tier 1 Golden Age gets activated. It's going to buff up his units, give them a nice little bit of, where are we? Here we are. An extra 10% gather rate. Now what's interesting is if you click on the villager and hover over that, it says 10% until it actually goes to level 3, at which point it changes to 15%. So I don't know if that's intentional or whether that's just something that's been left over, but yeah, it's a small little detail. 10%. Horseman comes in now. Let's take a look and see how Crackety's doing as he's looking for that second TC. Looks like he's got enough stone for it. 370 in the bank at the moment. He's going to be looking to drop it down a little bit after that 530 mark. Very early on in this game still. Second TC. Where is it going to go for the location? I mean, ideally, you just want to keep it close to home. When you're playing the Juicy Legacy, it's going to put it on the gold. I like this. I think this is quite smart. This enables him to hit Castle Age if he wants to go for it. We've seen Castle Age quite popular at the moment for Juicy Legacy just because they've got access to that Shaolin warrior monk. It is incredible watching those guys get to do their business out on the map. Scout with plenty of sheep behind it. Horseman coming in behind enemy lines. Crackety sees nothing. But the town center will come up here and will be able to deny any kind of presence that horseman wants to put out. Villagers now rallied over to the gold. I think he's going to be looking straight away for that Castle Age. A little bit of a switch. No. Yes. Yes, he is. Oh, okay. I see what he's doing. He's moving them around. This is always very awkward because sometimes they can prioritize the town center over the mining camp. So you got to be very careful because he's looking to try and supervise this mining camp up. You can see he's got plenty of Imperial officials out. Speaking of, well, Lumber Camp just got thrown down as well. Horseman should be able to chase out this scout eventually and take it down. Let's check in with Lucifer and see how he's doing on this south side. As it looks like he has he's going for a bit of a tilt at Castle Age as well. I do like this playstyle. So 3 villages and then opening up with a stable, looking to get in that cavalry, get the Desert Raider out for that ranged plus melee attack. You can see he's going to be able to put the hurt on right here from a distance. Slowly chipping away at the health of the villagers. Is Crackety going to notice here? Excuse me, Crackety. You got a villager that's about to go down. Look at this villager. It does go down. So Crackety making a very big mistake right there. Bit of an awkward spot here as well. Outside the base. Nothing to really protect this food source. And now Crackety's going to have to go elsewhere looking for food. And this is very early on. Keep that in mind. So an outpost is going to go up together with a mill. He'll look to try and protect the hunt over towards that west side. Let's have a look and see whether he considers picking up survival techniques. I know if I'm Crackety, this is the best time to pick it up because you're yet to receive... There it is. Perfect timing for Crackety. You're yet to gather up any of that deer, so you want to try and maximize the efficiency of it. But we now start to see that age up coming through from Lucifron. Now, I know that it's not here, but I can tell you, judging by the resources, he's definitely clicked something. What's it going to be? And it looks like he's going to be heading into the culture wing. Excuse me, Lucifron. Showing the men how to do it, and the women. Look at this. So he's moving into logistics. I figured he would have gone into trade wing, but maybe he's just sick and tired of it. He just knows it's good and doesn't bother, and maybe he's testing other things, or maybe he knows something that we don't. Anyway, I'm excited to ride along. He's put out a huge amount of pressure early on. I actually love this, the opening that he's given us. This is a really solid opening for the Ayyubids. So if you haven't already written it down, make sure you do. If you're an Ayyubid main, I was going to say an Abbasid main, but obviously you're not because the new expansions come out and we're all maining the new civilizations. Though I have seen a few people playing with the old civs, just testing them up against the new civs, which is lovely to see. Now look at this. Double archery range. Stable getting thrown down as well. What's he got in store for us? Is he thinking about going into the Camel Rider? That's an option. Or not the Camel Rider, rather the... What's it called? We've got the Desert Raider and then we've got the Camel Lancer. I think that's the name of it. So it could be an option for him. But now, a decent amount of resources in the bank for Crackety. He's going to be thinking about heading towards that Castle Age as well. We've been talking about it for a while here. You can see that he's been doing everything he can to avoid making units, and he's finally realized, you know what, we got to make a couple units, couple palace guard, or couple spears out, a single palace guard. That'll do it. But you're always going to have a tough time up against Lucifron with those ranged cavalry units. They're just going to be very potent when it comes to those slight little attacks. Villager jumps inside the village, keeps it safe for a little bit longer. Back towards the base. There's the age up now coming through from Lucifron. 3 dervish going to arrive out on the field. Keep in mind, this is the unique religious unit for the Ayyubids. And it means that he's got access to 3 monks immediately. And these guys are fast. 1.62 movement speed. As fast as a lancer, as fast as a knight. These guys do not mess around, and he sends them out straight away to the relics on the map. Look at this. Going very aggressive, looking to try and pick up all 5 of the relics early on in this game. So Lucifron is off to a flying start here, and we can see just how quick he is out of the gates. This is incredible to watch. Now looking to focus back home. We see the production numbers are starting to build. He's got 5. There we go. There they are. The Camel Lancers have arrived. I've read mixed reports about this unit, and I'm curious to see exactly how well it goes. I think in team games, this unit is going to be incredible. In 1v1, I still think it's going to be strong, but I don't think it's going to be as game-breaking as team games. It's just mainly because it's very effective at dealing with raids, right? Your cavalry, enemy comes in with some cavalry, congratulations, you've got a Lancer, and it has that bonus camel unease that's going to support it. So that's a really nice composition, or a really nice, a really nice unit that you can use to guarantee that you're going to have success against enemy raids. But now those numbers really start to build. Look at this. We've got a huge number of camels beginning to build up here. The Camel Lancers looking solid. Let's check in over on the other side of the map. Crackety looking to go into the Shaolin Monastery. And oh my gosh, I tell you what, he's going to feel a little bit sour after he ages up and realize there's no relics left on this map. That's the last one is about to be picked up. We can see that Dervish heading out towards it. He's got 4 in the bank already. This is going to be the 5th one in his hands. And now for the Shaolin Monastery, they're going to have nothing to do. I mean, sure, you can make Shaolin monks, and that's cool, I guess. But ideally, you want to be picking up relics. And now the numbers are looking really good for Lucifron. Crackety did go for a bit of a greed. I wouldn't say it was necessarily greedy, but he's gone 2 TCs. And there was a fair bit of damage that was put out. But now look at this. The Camel Lancers finding decent success over here. A couple of veteran archers on the back as well. Zhukanu going to try and clean them up, but the Lancers are doing a very nice job of eating that army alive. And now, doesn't look like there's any more reinforcements for the moment, but it doesn't really matter. Look how low this military number is. Sacred sites getting taken behind this. 1 sacred site, 2 sacred sites, and the 3rd sacred site yet to be taken as the relic is coming back for the moment. Keep in mind the Dervish is a unique religious unit that has access to a special ability called Mass Heal. It also heals 50% times faster. Heals 50% times faster when carrying a relic. I don't think you know what that means. 50% times is, how do we represent that? Heals 0.5 times faster, which... Okay, I guess we could just say it heals 50% faster. Heals half as much. No, heals 1.5 times as much. It's an awkward way to phrase it, I guess. I can see where they're coming from. Shaolin Monk's out. Look at him. He's spinning. He's got the bamboo out. He says, how you doing? Let's see how it works out for you. Swing to win. That's going to be the name of the game. We're not spinning here anymore. We got rid of that. Sacred site over on the west side getting taken up. And I got to say, an early Castle Age lead is definitely beginning to shape up here for Lucifron. He has got a beautiful strategy for us. And we start to see upgrades. +2 coming through on the food gathering. +2 on the wood gathering. He's having himself an absolute field day out here. Now the Shaolin Monk going to be under pressure. Camel Lancer runs in. Big charge under the back line. The crossbow is going to be trying their best to deal with this threat. He needs to move into some spears as well. Crossbow spear is going to be the name of the game here. The archers on the back line looking to help reinforce. Sacred Site victory now approaching. Lucifron, he is trickling in so much passive gold into his back pocket. He's having a field day out here. And the Dervish have really been able to take this game by storm. I think in a matchup like this, it just makes so much sense to go into. You're saving yourself a lot of resources. When we look at the Dervish, you're talking about 180 resources each. Not to mention the fact you don't have to build the mosque up front. You don't have to worry about training them. So it just gives you a real tempo advantage when it comes to this wing. And I got to say, this is not a wing that I consider to be strong. Look, I did my landmark tier list. And I'll be honest, that landmark, or that wing actually did pretty well, if I remember correctly. I think I called it maybe B tier or something like that, and this was the main reason why, because you can see it used in combinations like this, but now all of a sudden, Palace Guards trying to find their way onto the back line will be able to do it. You can see they're managing to make it onto the archers. A couple more units on the back. It looks like we're going to have a Lancer out, but remember the Lancer are going to have to deal with that Camel Unease, a loss of 20% of your damage, which is going to be significantly impactful. Crackety still with a villager advantage at the moment, but keep in mind, his opponent's got all 5 of the relics. He's got access to those 3 sacred sites. He's just pumping out a whole bunch of units right now. We'll switch it over to income per minute to get a bit of an idea of where they're at. About 2.6k, 2.7k for Lucifron compared to Crackety, who's sitting on a little bit under that, maybe 2.6, 2.5, probably even less than that now that I see these numbers. Actually, it's way less than that. It's about 2k. So definite advantage at the moment sitting with our Ayyubid player. Second town center also coming up here for Lucifron. I tell you what, this guy, he just knows how to play. And that's the beautiful thing. When you watch Lucifron play, he's just a master of the civilization. And I tell you what, if there's a guy to watch, it's going to be Lucifron. I'm going to be keeping good tabs on him. Going to be keeping good tabs on his brother Vortex as well. Making sure that we stay up to date with what their progression is pointing towards, what civilizations they're favoring, the strategies that they're going for, whether we see these one-base plays like we've seen today. One of the theories that I've seen throughout recent games is that the person that goes for the second town center is normally the person who loses. Nice little Dervish patrol over here. I don't know why he's doing that still. I guess he might have just forgotten about the unit for the moment. Camel Lancers on the backside. Managed to find a villager. He's taken out 5 already this game. Crossbow's going to come in with a couple of palace guards. Not a whole lot of success here, though. Just the one villager. I guess he draws back his opponent. Walls now completing around the edge of the base. A lot of walls. Camels towards the front, looking to try and get that charge through. You can see the way that they're attempting to get in behind that line. They managed to do it. First villager goes down, second villager going to go down. He's got a couple more units on the backside. He's baited them all away. This is everything that Crackety's got. And now at the same time, he's dealing with this threat at the front. He's got no units to support it because he's having to chase away these Camel Lancers, and he doesn't want to let it go. It's that classic case of you've invested all of these resources to deal with these Camel Lancers, and now all of a sudden you've got to, it's the sunk cost fallacy. Do I continue chasing or do I head back to my base? And you know, I can feel the anger in Crackety right now, and he's just chasing his opponent around the base, and finally he's able to catch up to them. But you can see the Camels still manage to make it out alive, and this is what makes them so powerful as raiding units, because if cavalry even tries to stop them, they're going to have the upper hand because of that camel unease. 3 sacred sites continue ticking. All 5 relics happily kept inside, and you can see now, looks like the gold income is starting to build here for Lucifron. He's picked up pretty much every single upgrade you could ask for at this point in the game. +2s are on the way through for the acid distillation. He's having a field day out here. Little bit of a transition into the farms for Crackety. What can he do to pull this one out? I think the most important thing for Crackety here is he needs to take a sacred site off his opponent just to stall that out. That's the most important thing. After you take the sacred site off the opponent, then you can think about stalling the game even further. Try and get to Imperial Age, and you can do that off your farms. I think that's definitely a viable option for him here. But he's got to really boom this one out. And you can see that he just continues to struggle as he loses more villagers. I think the longer the game, or the longer this game goes, the better it will get for Crackety. But he is going to be up against a tough late game. 5 relics in the bag of his opponent. No relics for him. Which means that infinite resource generation from pagodas or tithe barns isn't going to be on the cards here. On top of that, we still don't know a lot about the Ayyubids, but one of the things we know about the Juicy Legacy is that they love to go for the Imperial Guard. It's one of the best cavalry units in the game. And what have the Ayyubids got? Well, they've got access to the Camel Lancer, which counters that unit very effectively. So it's one of those things where we'll have to wait and see how the matchups really start to stack up. And we can say that, you know, Juicy's Legacy, if it holds out, it'll be good in the late game, and that's true. But in this matchup, it might be different. But we've got a single villager over here looking to try and neutralize the sacred site. Unfortunately, he realizes it's only going to be a matter of time until he goes the way of the dodo, runs away a little bit preemptively, trying his best to distract the opponent. But now we've got a battering ram on the front line. Crackety really fighting off the back foot this entire game and going to show that Juicy's Legacy is not as powerful as some casters would lead you to believe. But I guess at the same time, he's probably, I'll say, look, he's a little bit outmatched. I'd say if you had a, you know, maybe standard deviation is not the right way to use it, but there would be a decent gap between Lucifron and Crackety. There'd be about 4 gaps between myself and Crackety. So there's not a big gap between these two players, but it's a noticeable gap, and it's something that is going to come out in these games when people don't really know what they're doing. So that's what we're seeing here. But now the numbers really starting to build for Lucifron. Look at the gold he's still got stacked up here. And this is one of those questions when you've got all of this gold income. What do you do with it? It makes it really difficult to spend all of this gold because you can only get so many upgrades. You can only do so many units that cost gold. Now the Camel Lancer numbers really starting to build here. Mangonel's going to be, rather Manjanique's going to be coming in on the back line. The Ayyubids, we're going to get rid of that UI because it is time. I wonder if he's got the fire shot enabled. Now coming around, we see the Nest of Bees looking to unpack. There's not a lot of units here to defend the Nest of Bees, trying to find it. Manjanique's only going to be firing off their Mangonel shots. Not going to be looking for that fire. Nest of Bees firing off. It's decent. The surround is good. The first of the Manjaniques goes down to the Springald. But now the Nest of Bees is under pressure. You can see the heals coming in from the Dervish. The mass heals on that front line. Another shot in from the Mango. It's going to go down. But so are the Nest of Bees. A couple of units on the backside idle for him here, and Crackety is holding on inside this base. The heal comes in once again from the Dervish. He's only got one of them on board, but the numbers are beginning to fizzle out for both of these players. The Archer difference, though, is going to make a significant amount of hurt or pain here for Crackety, and that's because if he manages to take out this force, he's just going to be able to run through this farm line, and that looks like it might be exactly what he's going to be doing here, picking off villagers willy-nilly, and that's when you have a heartbreak moment, because you've got to run these villagers now. You're going to be losing them. Your economy is going to be idled out, and because your economy is idled out, your reinforcements are going to be delayed, and because your reinforcements are delayed, now you're not going to be able to deal with this as effectively, and then there's going to be more units coming towards the front, and it's only a matter of time until you type into your opponent, good game, I've had enough. Let's not bother fighting anymore. Whether Crackety looks to do that here is going to be a different question, though. We can see that he's still managing to deal with it. The problem is these archers are quick, and even though they're up against palace guards, they're still pretty damn good at escaping and evading the opponent. Nesta Bees managing to clean up. The palace guard's going to be left over. And we'll bring you back in with that UI now. Let's check in and see how it's going towards the front of the base. Lucifron just overwhelming his opponent here. Do we have an Imperial Age through just yet? Doesn't look like it. Still sitting in the Castle Age. Funneling in units towards that front of the base. But Crackety's holding, but look at the difference of villager count now. It's down 26. 41 vills lost this game. I think that says it all. I mean, Crackety would be at a significant advantage if he hadn't lost a single villager. The problem is he has lost many villagers. 41 to be exact. Now the farm transition comes in for his opponent. Remember that as Lucifron is playing the Ayyubids and not the Abbasid dynasty, there's a couple of things that he's missing out on. Most notably, fresh foodstuffs. He doesn't have access to cheaper villagers. In addition to that, going the Eco Wing, you don't have access to Fertile Crescent, which reduces the cost of your farms. You're paying the full price for them here. These are significant bonuses that need to be considered that you're missing out on by choosing the Ayyubids over the Abbasid dynasty. And it's important to remember that these civs are a lot different than what they appear on the surface. Villager transfer coming in. Beautiful farm economy now starting to go for Lucifron. How many farms is he up to? It's up to 32 farms. We'll check in with Crackety and see what numbers he's running at the moment. Crackety on 32 farms as well. So both of these players, I am correct, right? 32 farms each? Yep. Oh, he's up to 35 now. Looks like he's built a couple more. But yeah, huge farming economies for both of these players. Advantage far and well and truly in Lucifron's favor at the moment. And I think a combination of things have led to that. But the main one for me is the fact that this wall was denied. That the wall didn't come up on time. And because the wall didn't come up on time, those 10 or 12 Camel Lancers managed to get behind enemy lines. And once that happened, it felt like it was all over. Because then he just had Crackety chasing his tail. And that makes it so damn difficult to deal with. I'm curious, if you've got an idea, how do you think the best way to deal with Camel Lancers are if they're raiding? Wait. I was going to say, hold on a minute. Why is this showing up? He doesn't have the military wing just yet. What do you think is the best way to deal with this unit? Because this is a unit that has the ability to strike down villagers where they stand, to kill them in how many shots? 2 shots. It will kill a villager, just like a normal knight or a lancer will. And the problem is, if you send horsemen to kill this unit, it won't happen because of camel unease. If you send knights to kill this unit, it won't happen because of camel unease. If you send crossbows to kill this unit, they'll run away. If you send spearmen to kill this unit, they'll run away. So I feel like your only option is really to send knights, but to send more knights than what your enemy has got. Which always makes it a bit of an awkward arms race, kind of like what happens with Springolds, where you just need to always maintain slightly more defensive knights than your opponent has offensive knights to get through. But now we got ourselves a play to get back into the game. The Palace Guards going to be looking to break through onto the enemy wood line. Villager kills, let's count them. Two workers gone down so far this game, but that's only going to be the one that goes down here. We see the dead body laying on the ground. More and more vills continuing to fall. That's the second one. Third one going to be going down. It's a slow and steady battle in the back line. And at the same time, oh, there she is. Isn't she beautiful? The Tower of the Sultan. My first true love. Sorry, honey. Don't tell that to my wife. Actually, my first true love? Who was my first true love? Was it... Maybe it was Eloise in grade 1. It could have been. Or it could have been Melissa. Melissa in grade 2. She wasn't too bad. Or Larissa in grade 3. I had a lot of girlfriends when I was young. Is that a normal thing? Did you have girlfriends when you were young? Let me know in the comments below. This is now a dating stream where we talk about all sorts of jazz, I guess. But the main focus is Age of Empires. Of course, we always bring it back to the game. I totally forgot to mention, but the Sacred Site did eventually get neutralized over on this east side. And now all of a sudden the Palace Guard's going to be coming out. We'll try and get ourselves a sneaky little look and see how they do. Palace Guards up against archers together with horsemen. A little bit of... Actually, I take it back. There's crossbows with horsemen. That's a bit more scary. And now that Tower of the Sultan comes knocking. Knock, knock. Who is it? It's the United States. Not really. It's the Ayyubids. They heard you have oil. And I'm not talking about the... I'm talking about the kind that comes from olives. I'm not talking about the one that's in the ground, baby. Let's check in and see how that south side is doing. It looks like Lucifron has recovered well from the raid. Horsemen, together with the crossbows, have cleaned it up successfully. And now, on this front, the Springolds looking to try and tee off. A single nest of bees making its way through. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get... It gets 2 single rockets off there. And now, The Tower of the Sultan just marches towards the units. It's like, go away. You do not want to fight. Look at it just go. It's so menacing. This is such a menacing unit. It's not even a meme anymore. And it's only 3 military population. That's wild. Speaking of military population, have a look at the difference between these two. 73 versus 14. Things not going well on the juicy legacy side of things. I think this might be it. I don't see any way that Crackety holds this position from here. He's going to try and do a little quick wall to the town center. Remember that you can't use your buildings as part of your walls. So you'll be able to run through this little position. You can see the Imperial official managing to run through. And now that town center going to be under pressure. It's only a matter of time until the G's get typed. I can feel it in my bones, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, hold on. I'll get it this time. 3, 2, 1. Every time I say it as well, I'm putting my fingers, like, trying to make it happen, like, magically, like, okay, and this is where he's going to give up. But is he not actually giving up? He is still trying to fight this. Look, he's got 8 palace guards in queue. 4 of them pop out, and now he's going to look to force it. He realizes he's got to go here because the farms are the last line he needs to hold. If he loses the farm, he loses the game for sure. The Tower of the Sultan continues to push in. The Nesta B is getting some decent shots off the palace guards, looking to try and defend them. He's got to make sure he gets this Nesta B on that back line covered. Unfortunately, doesn't cover it, doesn't have enough units, and that's going to be the cleanup. If there aren't G's typed in the next 4 seconds, I don't know what is going to be happening, but there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch these two guys. Good game goes over to Lucifron there with a beautiful performance on the Ayyubids and demonstrating just how strong they can be. Wonderful strategy from him there. Anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.